Hello, Tim. Tim, let me know if sound and resolution is okay, because I've changed computers and I've configured new stuff for OBS, and I don't know how it looks the other end. Juanpa, same. Hello, Emmanuel, same. Oh, I sound robotic. I guess it'll be a few minutes before we can figure this out. So everybody thinks the sound is bad? Maybe. Let me fix this. Let me see if I can do that. Hang on, guys. I'm gonna look at the usual OBS configuration and see what needs to be done. 1, 2, 3. Desktop, disable desktop audio 2, auxiliary. Okay, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, third one. Let's see. Okay, is it any better, guys? Juanpa, is it any better? Hello, Nikki. We're trying to figure out the new configuration in OBS for my new using this other computer. So Juanpa, it's fixed, is it? Emmanuel says it sounds as if another microphone was turned on as well. Okay, good. Good. How about the resolution, guys? Is resolution good? Picture, guys. Picture is good. Okay, good. So let's see what we have here. So welcome, everyone. I'm glad that this thing is just fixed. Let me just turn this off here. So, Tim, let's see. Tim says, question, okay. Tim says, question to you. How do you think about many dramatic breakups in the past, always, each time, but suddenly with actual girlfriend, is everything perfect? What is going on there? Not as intense need for bonding, and therefore no deep emotions can be invested in this relationship. Tim, I'm having a little problem understanding the question. How do you think about many dramatic breakups in the past, always, each time, but suddenly with actual girlfriend, I guess you mean the breakup, is everything perfect? What is going on there? I don't understand. What's everything perfect? And with actual girlfriend, you mean there are no... What do you think about many dramatic breakups? So with the actual girlfriend, are you breaking up or have you broken up? I'm confused. Okay, until that clears up, we go to next question. Next, Juanpa says, I can see Goku's veins from here. Oh, okay, that means the resolution is good. Emmanuel, male, 27, Boston. Yeah, everybody seems like forgetting about the protocol, huh? Leo K, question. Leo, what about our protocol? Which means gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. And I'll get back to you as soon as I see Emmanuel's question. Emmanuel says, yesterday I experienced jealousy like never before in my life. I saw the most beautiful girl in the world. You did you? At the airport. And it almost killed me, the fact that she's not mine. Well, that's a kind of a natural trait of a heterosexual male. Heterosexual male thinks every girl that he likes should be his or belongs to him. And he says, generally, I'm not a jealous person, but this girl was so beautiful, so beautiful, that my animal instincts came out like never before. Well, okay. But since we are living in a civilized world, we gotta tame that animal instinct and make sure that it remains in control and cordial and respectful, and unless there's a clear consent and interest from the other side, then you would make no attempt to make any woman uncomfortable, whether you're jealous or not. Leo K says, question to you. I'm still leaving. You mean, I'm still leaving with, you mean living. You're still living with my soon-to-be ex, and will be moving out soon. She cheated. Each time I see her, I'm hurting. How do I move on? Simply understand that you are happy to move on from a relationship that was not healthy, balanced, and committed, faithful, and of good quality. So what other motivation do you need more than wanting to be away and moving on from a negative situation? Do you need to be invited to please move away from the fire? It's going to burn your hand. I mean, what other motivation do you need when a speeding car is about to hit you? You sense unhealthy situation, environment, dangerous situation, and you move away. So moving away is not a bad thing. Don't look at it as a negative thing. Oh, I have to move away. Yes, you want to move away, not you have to move away. You want to move away from tsunami, from earthquake, from a bad smell, from hazardous projectiles, from things that are not healthy, including moving away from a relationship that is not healthy, or if the girl has broken up or cheated, or any other partners have cheated or broken up with the other one. These are all reasons that warrants an encouragement and eagerness to move on. It's not like I have to move on. No, I want to move on because this is the shits. I don't want this. This is not for me. So you think you're being hurt rather than thinking that you're actually being healed by your effort of wanting to move away from what seemingly has hurt you or makes you feel upset. So, imagine the people that you have no relationship with and they're just nuisance. Either they're bullies or they're just cowards and they resort to bulliness, or you're just walking about your business and you see all kinds of obnoxious people. So what do? You move away from them because it's not the balanced or healthy situation. These people are not normal. People who disrespect others, bully others, try to create trouble for others, they're not normal. People who do things that hurt other people or threat to hurt other people, these people are not normal. Understand that. It doesn't mean that they're better than you or they're stronger than you or they're not normal. There's something heavily wrong with them and you don't want to be around them. Whether you find them harmful, negative, scary, whatever it is, there's just simply something wrong with them and you don't want to be around people like that. Now, when it comes to relationships, suddenly your whole judgment is changed. Oh, this is not a people. Why? Because you have a relationship with that person and you get something from her which gives you pleasure. So in other words, you justify an unhealthy situation just because it carries certain pleasure. The same thing as when people are on drugs or alcoholics. They know the danger of it. They know what it is bad and it's not healthy, but because there's a pleasure involved in there, certain pleasure they receive from it, they have a hard time to convince themselves to move on, or if they have to, they say, oh, I gotta move, instead of being eager to move on from this unhealthy habit or situation. Same thing with people, but when you're in a relationship, you know that your girlfriend's cheated on you or she's broken up with you, you guys are no longer compatible if you ever were, you say, oh, it hurts me. What? It should hurt you if you're still there. It should hurt you if you still want to be with that person. But you're not focusing on all the problems, you're focusing on the pleasure, and you are justifying whatever the hell it is that you have to endure because there is a pleasure involved. So are you really hurt by her, or you are hurt if you move on because you will not receive pleasure? So is it the pleasure source of your hurt? Denied from pleasure, not receiving pleasure, that is why you hurt? Or is it the fact that you got to move on? Definitely moving on should not be hurting you, should be healing you. So if you focus further, you will see that you have no problem moving on. You want to move on. But because there's a pleasure involved, you're justifying the bad situation you're in. That's what most people do when they are going through a breakup. That's why breakup becomes very difficult. If breakup had no benefits for you, no pleasurable benefits for you, why would you care that you broke up? You would be happy to move on. You would not even have a second thoughts. It's only because of the pleasure and, of course, the memories that seems to be pleasurable. And, of course, we've talked about this in many other videos that we've had. The ego and the affirmation and feeling you're more, feeling you're accepted, feeling you're rewarded, or, of course, all the other things that we discussed about. Don't forget, we have 1,500 and more videos on this channel. You can always go to my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and if the videos and the free live talks are not necessarily addressing your particular situation, which I would doubt if it doesn't, because almost for anything that comes to your mind after breakup, if you type it into my search engine, my channel search engine, there's a video on it, or a bunch of videos on it. But having said that, in case you have a certain criteria or a certain situation that you want to discuss with me one-on-one, privately, you can go on my site, mind@seekstruth.com, and click on Talk to Mehran via Skype, make an appointment, and I'll be more than happy to discuss that with you, whatever is concerning you. You can also send me an email through the site, and there's a nominal fee to that, which helps me to know which emails I should respond, which emails would not have the priority, because I just can't answer all of them. And of course, there are packages, support packages on the site that you can go through and see what they entail, and you'll be pleased to know that you're not alone in this, and you're always helped, and the support is here. You can also reach me through Callmart, company out of Tokyo, that if you go on my page on Walmart, on Callmart, not Walmart, Callmart, Mind That Seeks Truth, and if the light is green or the button is green on the page, that means I'm available. You can click on it, and if you have an account with them, you'll be connected to my cell phone, and you can talk about what's concerning you. And of course, at any time, if there's anything medically urgent or medical nature, you'll have to consult that with your doctor, visit your doctor, and see what they would recommend, as I'm not a physician or have any medical credentials whatsoever. Now, let's see what we have in here. Leo is male, 37, Toronto. Peter says we should treat every situation with laughter. Everything in this life is temporary. Indifferences is the solution. Stop caring too much. All right, the rest of it you can guys read it. Everywhere you see, says hello Mehran. Hello, good to see you, dear. And Peter says, all right. Everywhere you see, says, how do you not get anxious when I meet new people? Well, because I wish you well. I want you to meet lots of good people. Why would I get anxious when you meet people? I know what you want to say. You want to say, how do I not get anxious? I say, how do I, not how do you. Okay, my bad. So how do I not get anxious when I meet new people? Why should you get anxious? Why? Because you're trying to impress them. Because you think they're better than you. Why? They need food. They need to wash their face. They need to drink water. They need to go to the bathroom. They need to learn. They need to be civilized. What's the difference? What are you so impressed by other people? Build something out of yourself. Learn things that you want to learn. Accomplish yourself, then you will not feel inferior toward anyone. And I don't care how much you know or how little you know and how much the others know, how lots the others know. You should just be there to exchange, learn, share, but that doesn't mean they're better than you. Why should you be anxious? Because you want to prove something to them, because you want something from them. You want them to recognize you, approve you, give you confidence. No, you don't need any of that. You can get all that on your own. Leo says, I didn't think that way. Been with her for 16 years. Yeah, you're used to her. You think your life depends on her. It doesn't. Depends on you. You're quite welcome, Leo. George Wright says, hello, Mehran. I'm a 21-year-old male from Northeast Netherlands, Northeast US. What do you mean Northeast? Northeast US has got lots of states in it. Can you give me a name? State name. George? Northeast US means nothing to me. Northeast. Oh, well, that would mean could be anywhere, no? Buffalo, New York, on the border to Canada. Could be any of those, no? Thank you, George. George says, everyone should like the video. Yes, there are 11 of us. We should have 11 likes at the end. And Peter says, Adrian, 40, Timisoara, Romania. Oh, Romania, welcome. Long way from here. And George? All right, so we don't have any more questions here, so we'll just take a break. I'll have a sip of tea. All right. George says, Albany, New York. Says, I don't have any questions. Just wanted to say hello and enjoy the discussion. By all means, welcome, George. I'm glad that you decided to join us. The more the merrier. Peter says, I think is the environment where you meet the girl, it's important. Is it not? Well, you can meet a girl to some degree, yes, but there's no guarantee that if you meet a girl in a coffee shop is less better or more better. More better, less better. New words. Is yeah, okay, more better or less better than if you meet her in a library or at the beach. It may indicate you have something in common in where you are according to the activities that are being pursued in that environment, or it may not have anything to do with it, and you could have different consciousnesses as you all do and find out that you're not compatible at all whatsoever, regardless of if it was an environment that was pristine or approved or classy or whatever. Peter says it's like wanting to find polar bears in Sahara. Not necessarily, because regardless of where you meet the girl is not the level of interest or compatibility and harmony in what you're interested as activities that makes you bond or not bond. It's the conditioning of your consciousness, depending what you've been exposed to, your backgrounds, religion, nationality, interests, dogmas, what you read, what you studied, what you've come across to, what you've been exposed to. All of that has a lot to do in the way your consciousness have been conditioned. So when you see a person, that's not the person, that's how the person looks like. The person is really inside her consciousness. And that's the one that you will bond or not bond with once you find out what each one of you are all about as far as your consciousness is concerned. Well, maybe I should have had my live stream also stream on Facebook. We could have had a few more people. We don't have enough people these days. Maybe I should actually discontinue the live talks. We don't seem to be growing. So perhaps it's not necessary. And the videos may be enough to provide some answers to people who are interested. Obviously, we are kind of lost in the midst of thousands of channels, and we are hardly visible, and the ones who find us hard, and our videos are a little bit detailed and elaborate, and most people seem to be interested in just superficial support, things to do, how to get your ex back and all that. So I'm rethinking my contribution to the whole idea of having a channel, and perhaps I'll come to a decision soon enough. Peter says not many people watch this. Yeah, you're right. Peter says everybody wants to see that other garbage. Cannot understand why. Because people by nature are lazy to learn, and they want everything to be shortcut, handed to them. Especially people of today's generation, they feel they're entitled to everything go smooth and their way. And that's why we have more bullies in this time and age than we ever had when I was a kid. People simply don't have that image that we have created out of ourselves in this world, that we have become more civilized. We haven't. Most people expect more unreasonably. They feel entitled just because some other people have accomplished things in their life, and they have things, or they have echelons, or they have education, or they have success of some kind. Everybody else says, why not me? That one's reason for that is that we have learned to be civilized and cordial and respect everyone, and make our societies believe and function as everybody is equal, which is a very good idea. But unfortunately, some people have misunderstood that idea of that everyone is equal, to the point that everyone is entitled whether or not they make an effort to make something out of themselves. So for that reason, most people were looking for shortcuts, cheat sheets, like the way we play with video games. Let me just win. Let me just get it. I don't care about the journey. I just want the results. So let me win a lottery, which I don't mind, but So naturally, the idea of shortcut interferes with their willingness to want to learn deeply about who they are, how they're put together, what makes them tick, what their psyche is all about, what about their consciousness, what about thoughts, effects of thoughts and consciousness on each other, what about fear, what is fear, how does it come about, how does it affect me, desire, same thing, how does it come about, what are the prerequisites for desire to be born, how does it affect me, how does it affect my functioning and my reactions and actions toward things in life, what about my ego, what does ego have to do with me, how did I get it, where does ego come from, is it an organ, do I have it like my kidneys, is it come with the birth? None of that is interesting to people, because they just want to see, just give me what I want. You have no idea, most of people in the world don't have any idea who they are and why they are who they are. From what? How did they become who they are? They have no understanding. They think they are their clothes, their physical being, their fitness, their money, their looks. That's all. That's the limit of their understanding of themselves. And nobody seems to be wanting to learn deeper. That's why it's like a bloody painful experience to try to promote this channel, because nobody really cares. They just want to have something to pacify their pain, rather than understanding why it has happened this way, what they can do so it won't happen this way, how they can promote more knowledge about themselves and develop and advance further in their life, become more successful and confident by themselves, rather than some superficial words coming from out there, and they try to constantly pay for it. Suck up to people just to tell me I'm good, so I feel good about myself. You do all these weird things so somebody says, oh yeah, he's such a good boy. And who is that person? Somebody who's actually seeking and hoping somebody else to say, oh, he's a good boy. What do you want me to say? Peter says in Romania you see lots of nepotism when getting a better job. Is it the same in Canada? Every society has their own share of it. Nepotism is quite popular in many countries and it's still practiced. And it's still practiced here as well, I'm sure, 100%. Just not as obvious as it is in many other countries. Now, why wouldn't it be popular? Everybody wants to help their own friends and families for many reasons, one of which would be to help them, and because when they're successful, they look better too because they're his relatives or her relatives. So might as well let me have a higher echelon of who I have become by having and making sure all my family and friends are actually successful as well, even if they're not, and I have to help them out to be, or pretend that they are by just giving them a job here and there. It's not as much as other countries, I don't think, but obviously it's everywhere. Everybody has some share of it. And Peter says, in Romania, a medium salary is $500 to $600 a month. Rich says, hello, I have a question. Okay, Rich, but what about protocol? We have a protocol. You're welcome to join us, but we need to know gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. And he says, I have a question regarding online dating. I have used on occasions post-divorce. I've got quite down at times using this type of platform, but it's difficult to meet people these days. Rich UK. Yeah. It's not, I don't think it's difficult per se. I think we have become more different in consciousness from each other than we were 50 years ago. And it's not about the diversities, it's about consciousness diversities. And the expectations, the focus on pleasure, focus on the less responsible I am, the better my life is, versus how it was 50 years ago, that everybody was trying to be responsible and more responsible, respectful, adhering to a good standing in being in good standing in a society according to how the society was looked. The society was healthier 50 years ago. There were lots of problems there too, but when we compare the two, while neither one are ideal, but 50 years ago, quality of life and thinking of people were more positive and cordial, respectful, cooperative, less independent than it is today. Today is far more than what it was 50 years ago as far as flash, money, pleasure, getting away with things without working hard, without really learning it, just wanting it, expecting it. Ego is far bigger today than it was 50 years ago, in my opinion. People are just lazy. More people are in criminal behavior because more people have become duped in thinking that money is where success is. And they haven't learned that success actually means different than having material things. If you've made yourself into a decent human being and have learned how to be a positive entity and positive force, positive role model in a society, if you've learned to become a decent human being and be a good role model for the society, and then you make lots of money and have things, why not? More power to you. But to sacrifice the quality of humanity and quality of being a good role model for the society, thinking that by having money you also achieve all that and you become an upstanding citizen, all that nonsense, that's futile. That's where we get to become who we are today in this society. Everything is about money, everything is about shortcuts, even if it's through illegal ways. People 50 years ago, they were more concerned about being good citizens, living within benefits and the well-being of the communities and cities and societies they were living in, adhering to the laws of the land. Now it's all about what can I get away with, and the governments themselves have become involved in illegal activities by forcing people into unreasonable expectations and so on and so forth. So it's not like just people and the governments are, no, governments are people. The same quality of people who have been conditioned and affected by the way things have been, they're the ones who become the government, therefore they will run the government that way, because then it becomes a vicious cycle. Worse and worse and worse. And of course, I'm not talking about in a specific country. I'm talking about in general, the world. Peter says, I'm thinking of finding something in other country, but very hard to find. Romanians are considered second-hand people. Really? Why? Why would that be? Carpe Diem says, good afternoon, Mehran. Great to see you. Hello, Carpe Diem. Good to see you, Adam. And Peter says, only the bad jobs are for Romanians. Have you had a bad start being from Iran when with discrimination? No, none. There's no such issues that I have experienced or see anybody experiencing here in Canada. We hardly have any such issues. The general issues having to do with human behavior and all that is everywhere in the world. But specifically in Canada about racism and stuff like that, you hardly see it, if there is any. I haven't experienced any. Mind you, it has somewhat, not all, but some, to some degree, if you're living in a normal, healthy, balanced society, and even in such societies when there are some racism or some discriminations, but if you believe in the fact that you won't allow anybody even think that way, because you don't think that way, you don't think that anybody could dare even discriminate against you because you hold yourself high and you have educated yourself, you comply with the law, and you are a upstanding citizen, then you don't even expect nor allow anyone to treat you in any different way than respectful, cordial, balanced as you treat them. That would be your personal duty to extend that kind of energy that would make others see that even if they have any stupid ideas about discrimination or racism, they wouldn't even dare to show it up when you are present, because you have created that aura of magnificence or confidence of who you are. And why should anybody think anybody is less than the other? Just because any reason, let alone just because you've been born in a different country? What the hell does that mean? I personally certainly never allowed anybody to think that, because I never allowed to think that way myself. It doesn't matter where I come from. Even if I was coming from any other country in the world, I would still think the same way. But how could I even imagine anybody could want to discriminate against a person coming from Persia? A magnificent civilization of 5,000 years old. And suddenly I am, for whatever reason, the color of my skin, the way I look, or whatever it is, inferior to some Joe Blow that feels because he or she has been born in a different part of the world and they have more technologies at today's time, therefore that would mean that person becomes automatically superior to anybody else or me or whatever. That's ludicrous. That's stupid. What does that supposed to mean? You should not allow such thoughts to even seep into anybody else's brain. And that starts from not even being a consideration in your own mind, and then therefore others will not dare to think that way or behave with you in that way. No, I've never had such experience anywhere, whether when I was studying in the United States or living in Canada or anywhere else that I've traveled. It's just the way you feel, your connection to the nature makes you feel in such a way that you're accepted everywhere because of the way you're extending your energy. And whoever does that to anybody else in the world is out of their own fear. It's not out of inferiority of that person who others are being prejudiced against. It's their fear of the people who are being racist. But there's no reason for anyone to be racist other than they're afraid of the other person. They feel intimidated and inferior to that person or that race for one reason or another known to themselves, and therefore they react on it. Otherwise, all people are equal. We know that. And we have Nazra Ahmad says, "Hi, my dear Mehran." Hello, dear. Good to see you as well, Nazra. Peter says, 12 years experience, university and masters in electrical engineering, but I think I wasted all these years in studying and working for what, Mehran? You worked for you, to know who you are. You enjoyed what you wanted to learn. You learned what you enjoyed to learn. And yes, I can understand your dilemma that it hasn't been translated to lifestyle or wealth that you might have, of course, focused on. But it's a problem if nepotism has a lot to do with you not having the kind of job that you deserve to have. As you said, you know, you live in Europe, so you can probably move on to any part of it as you like, live there and work there, find a job there. Donna Hannaford says, "Good morning, Mehran." Good morning, dear. It's 6 a.m. here in Australia. Oh my goodness, finally somebody from Australia found us. Donna, where you Australians been? Down under. Come on up. See us, find us. I've purposely made special efforts to have late night live talks, such as 12 midnight Vancouver time, which would make it about 6 o'clock or 5 or 6 o'clock in Australia in the afternoon of the next day, especially on weekends. But I still don't get anybody, other than one or two people, to enjoy or to join us or to use our or participate in our live talks. So I'm delighted that you're here. And so Donna says, good morning, Mehran. It's 6 a.m. here in Australia. Finally able to watch live. Romanians aren't second-class people. Come to Aussie. There we go. That's my girl. Good for you. And Donna, don't forget the protocol. So, gender, age, and where you tuning in from? Well, we know two of them, I guess. Obama Your Mama 18 says, my divorce hearing is next week. My stepdaughter is devastated cause her mom was cheating and she couldn't tell me cause her mom told her not to. Now my daughter thinks I'm going to walk out of her life. Cause she kept it from me. My wife now moved to another state with the guy and left her daughter with her mom. She's hurt because her mom left her for a man. My wife doesn't know I know. Should I tell her my concerns for daughter at divorcing? Of course. You must have a lawyer and ask your lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but why wouldn't you show concern about your daughter and daughter's well-being mentally and physically? I don't know how old your daughter is, but obviously she needs guidance, she needs care, she needs attention, she needs to feel secure. And mother and her behavior, or father and his behavior, has a lot to do with how children feel, especially after divorce. So if you have divorced, you should understand, you can add that one who divorces must understand that that is the decision that one has made for him or herself. Does not involve an agreement from children. Children did not decide for their parents to divorce and go to other people. They wanted to have the comfort and the safety that they enjoyed being protected by their parents. Introducing an unknown person, someone new who's neither father nor mother of the children, into their lives just because you decided to want to sleep with them, it's ludicrous. It's jeopardizing the right of a child to feel safe and secure and be raised in an environment of balance and safety and happiness and positivity, just because someone who decided to have a child now decides that I'm more important than the child's well-being. Now I want to go and play or whatever the hell it is that they want to do. That's unacceptable. Where is that responsibility that we all felt 50 years ago? I can say that now because I'm 64. I never could say that because I would have not been born. Gee, I'm that old. All right, now, of course, you can mention that to the judge and say, look, I'm concerned about, what is happening to my child. She has the right to do in this day and age, she has the right to do whatever she wants, regardless of her responsibility to her children. But I don't feel that's right. What about her? She just left her with her mom and then gone away. What is she, a teenager now, this woman that was my wife? What happened? Where is the extension of law to protect the children from the behavior of the adult just because our name has become to be considered as an adult? Our age makes us to feel that if we are adult, that doesn't relinquish us from our responsibilities and duty to abide by the moralities and the unwritten law of responsibility toward our children. So I'm an adult, so I can do whatever I want? Maybe, as long as it doesn't jeopardize or hurt anyone else that I'm responsible for or should be responsible for. My children. Since when did I come first and the children come second? That is what needs to be dealt with. The selfishness and egoistic behavior and pursuit of pleasure, which seems to have priority over any other responsibility that we have, whether it's our education that we want to accomplish or jobs we should be focused on, or our responsibility to our children. Pleasure takes on. Oh, I want to go with that woman, so I got to let go everything I have here. Pursue that pleasure. What the hell is she gaining with going on with some guy when she's already have a child and have a family, have decided to get married? Why did you decide to get married if you weren't going to stick with it? What is this, a game? Not everything is video game or movies. You can't turn back things that you do or say. Nothing that you say or do can ever be erased. So let's make sure to think about what we want to say before we say it. Let's make sure we think about what we want to do before we do it. The consequences of ourselves and the society and the others is what one has to be mindful of before one attempts to pursue his own selfish reasons for whatever it is that one wants to say or do. Chlorine. All right. This is hi from Sweden. It's 22:07 here. It's nighttime, of course. And what about gender, age, melanchlorine? Donna says, yes, down under in Melbourne, it's sunny morning. Sunday morning, yeah. Oh, Sunday morning. Yes, that's right. Well, good then. So you guys have no excuse not joining our Saturday talks. Saturday, 12 noon is 5 o'clock in the morning over there, Sunday morning. But around this time, you guys are probably up, or most of you. Donna says, I'm 43. All right. Thank you for that, Donna. Somebody's yelling in the street. Obama Your Mama 18 says, cause she keeps it from me. My wife now moved to another state with the guy and... Oh, we discussed that, didn't we? Oh, yeah, we did that. Donna says, yes, Obama, this child has been left with extended family when she has a dad and loves her. Mm-hmm. Clint says, hi, Mehran, Ken, 57 from the USA. Hello, Clint. Good to see you here. And melanchlorine says, male 33. Thank you for that. Male 33, Sweden. All right. Peter says, I like the painting with the horse behind you, Mehran, reminding me of my grandfather's horse. Yes, that horse is called Ali Baba. The rider is a highly accredited graduate of military school of riding in Saumur, France, Colonel Ismail Neshati, who was, or I had the privilege of training under his supervision to become a show jumper, an equestrian. He was an amazing man. It was like a He was my role model. I never said anyone or compared anyone to my father, and I never do, as I was very close to my father and highly respect him, loved him, learned a lot from him. Colonel knew my father knew Colonel, and Colonel was also like my father. We were very close. I learned a lot from him. And so I spent lots of time in the horse arena and competitions and so on. So it's always a pleasure. That particular picture was a black and white 6 centimeter by 4 centimeter picture I had from him. When I came here, I found a Korean artist having a gallery on a street here, main street called Georgia Street. I went in there and I showed him 2 small pictures. One small 6 by 4 centimeter of my mother, and one black and white picture 6 by 4 centimeter of the Colonel. And I said, "Can you paint these?" He said, "Yes." So, a nominal fee of $250, I had these made. So this picture here is a 40-year-old picture. It's been on my wall ever since. Everywhere I went, every apartment or place I went, this was on the wall. He sure has affected thousands of people around the world with his care and teaching, mastery in being a horse whisperer. He touched many people's lives. So when he died, students from all around the world, especially Iranian students, who many of them were in different countries studying or working, like me here in Canada. We all got together. The initiative was made by a bunch of loyal students of his living in Iran and living in France, and they brought this movement of requesting or consideration, requesting that he would be formally recognized by the administration of military school of Saumur, military school of riding in Saumur, France. And some of his own instructors were still alive in the school, and they clearly remembered his contribution and his mastery as a student at the time. And they requested students around the world, his students around the world, to write their memories or experiences they had with Colonel's teachings and how it has been instrumental in their riding knowledge. And I wrote one as well. And the result, after careful consideration, Colonel had impeccable contributions and heavy, strong, important contributions to the whole riding societies, and helped develop many, many extraordinary riders. And so he has now been recognized officially by the school. So that's the full story. Part of the story. He was an important man. His attitude, his style of teaching, his seriousness, his impeccable, honorable behavior, and highly expected so much from the students. And we complied. We did our best. We won many championships. We all became riders, that we would ride horses, not that $1 million horses would ride the rider and become champions. No, we could ride almost anything. So anyhow, enough blowing our own horn. Let's go on to see what Donna says. Donna says, Peter learned to swim well. Ah, I see. You're talking to Peter. Okay. Drago says, thank you for your advices, sir. Really helped through some tough times. Delighted that you're here. Don't forget to give us a little bit of a knowledge about you, gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. Well, guys, it's 1 hour after our discussion. I think it's time for me to wrap it up, especially that we don't have that many people here or that many questions. So perhaps we will try again tomorrow and we'll see where that goes. I'll stick around for another 10 minutes and see if there's anyone that wants to get something off their chest. And then I'll just go about getting ready for my next appointment. All right. Seems like it's time for me to say I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and giving me a chance to share a thing or two with you. Hope you'll have a wonderful day today or evening, wherever you are. I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.